to see how that relationship will develop and anything you'd like to see changed. Yeah.
Thank you, Adam. I've been told by my compatriots here that my job is to talk and their job is to elbow me at appropriate times. So I would like to say that, I don't know if you follow Jen on LinkedIn, but I saw she made a great post on LinkedIn. She's been on the board for, about half a week and then she's immediately jumped into things. So she made the mistake of coming as an information session to one of our board meetings and she left as a board member. So she's apparently a slow learner. We'll see, but we really appreciate her, and I think that that post was a great start. Our purpose here today is not to tell you what the answers to the questions should be that we're going to suggest you consider. The bottom line is with any organization like this, and I'd be happy to share background, but I think we've given you a lot of background already that you've been supporting. So the informal committee of two that is Chuck Ito and myself has been operating since 2009 with exchanges coming in from 2010 through today, which we're right in the middle of one now, which is going just wonderfully. And in 2023, you and the city stepped up to help us. And that's much appreciated as a result of that communication between Iyo and Keizer. As you know, there's getting closer and closer to finalizing the formal sister city agreement between the two. So part of our purpose today is to suggest things that this group and the Kiska board, which does not include me, by the way, I'm the ex officio non-voting, I just get to talk and I don't have any responsibility, so it's perfect control for me. There are no right or wrong answers to the questions that we suggest you discuss. Adam and Kathy have been on the board, and I think Shane, you're on the board as well, are you not? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And whether councilors and the mayor choose to be on the board or not that's not a right or wrong answer in my mind. It was a way for us to get something started and get it moving. So how you choose to do that going forward, I don't have a strong feeling about that one way or the other. So the key is, what do we need Kiska? And I think if you look at the flyer, have they seen the flyer?
Show them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been shared.
Yeah. So as you've seen the flyer, we're looking at supporting the sister city program in the area of cultural exchanges, tourism, economic, and financial issues as well. Education and exchanges are kind of wrapped together. So what we've found over the years that the city of Salem has been working with California in Japan is that has kind of gone up and down. And I think what happened is that the city for a while did not do much in Salem. And as their support association didn't really step up, that kind of language which caused them to I think feel like they need to revisit that, which they have celebrated their 40th anniversary or something here recently. So I think that the purpose of a nonprofit support organization is to do whatever you as a city don't want to do yourselves. And that may include fundraising, it may include organization of exchanges in both directions. It may include any of those things. If we talk about what is the need for Kiska, then the answer is if you want to have a sister city program, there are a number of mechanical things that will go with that and will be developed over the years to come. We talked with Superintendent Castaneda about incorporating the school district with some sort of exchange programs. One of the things that I suggested in years past was English as a second language is a challenge for both cities. And we might be able to share some ideas about what seems to work and what doesn't. Our CTEC program here in Salem is an absolute model for the whole country. So, you know, that's something we could share with EO to the extent that they might find useful. EO is really known for towels. They make the softest, most wonderful towels. If you've been the recipient of one of their towels, you know what I mean. I can't bring one home. My wife grabs it as soon as I walk in the door.
Yeah.
They grow oranges, wonderful oranges. They're very similar in many ways with the agricultural basis of their primary economy. And they are also, as is Keizer, looking for ways to broaden that and to grow effectively. And so there may be ideas that can be shared there. So that's the why. Kiska came up because we in our committee and those who are now on the Kiska board have volunteered to help us as a committee. And we felt like it would be a good thing so that two aging committee members, namely Keizer-Iyo and myself, could help transition younger people to keep the program going successfully for the years to come. What is the structure? That's kind of being developed. At the last board meeting, we talked about having committees that kind of follow along with those four categories that we've outlined on the flyer. And the one committee that we talked about, cultural exchanges, would probably coordinate with the educational committee at Trinity. If it's a middle school exchange program, that would really fit in with the educational process. But our thought is that if it pleased the city, Kiska would then develop and recruit people for committees that would support those planks that are going to become part of the sister city agreement. What you want Kiska to do, what you think the city can do itself, I don't have the answers, but I think those are the kind of things that are worth discussing and figuring out how you would like that to work going forward. The legal framework, we've had a corporation has been filed, nonprofit status request has been filed with the IRS. We haven't received the response yet. So the intention is for KISS to become a 501c3 nonprofit and be able to raise funds that it could help support whatever programs the city would like us to be part of. The relationship between Kiska and the city, I think is one where it's up to both entities to make sure that whatever you expect of the other is clear. That may be fundraising, it may be organizational support, it may be just do what we ask you. But I just think it's important that those conversations be had, and that whatever the decision is that's made between the two organizations of who's going to do what, that both parties have a clear understanding of what's expected. Funding, Kiska does not expect at this point to receive any funding from the city of Keizer. We greatly appreciate and thank you for your agreement to waive the usual event center fees for our visitors and for us for the classes that we hold here. But for example, when the city is required to hire outside security to serve alcohol at the reception tomorrow night, we expect that that's an invoice the city should give to Kiska because it's there. And actually, in this case, I expect that our visitors will probably pay it because it's part of their reception, and they don't want us they don't want to be beholden to us for that. I cannot outpost Japanese people. We've tried. I think that talks about the current status. I think the immediate goal is to work with you to try to outline how the council is going to be in terms of comfort level with how you would like Kiska to function in that support role. Current activities, I think the current activities are primarily going to be continuation of this middle school exchange program that's been going on. So we certainly want to continue that and begin a fundraising process to help further that, so we're not, behind the eight ball every year and putting things on my credit card and then getting reimbursed. And so fundraising and continuation of that program is, I think, our two short-term immediate goals. And then right alongside those will be to work with you in a collaborative way to try to flesh out what those expectations should be and how the structure should work going forward. As I said, I don't have any right answers. That's something that we all have to kind of figure out. Okay, what's your comfort level? Do you want the mayor and any council members to be on the Kiska board, or you would like to be completely independent? Would you like the city manager to participate? Should they be voting members? Should they be ex officio? I don't think there's a wrong answer. I think it's just, how do you feel about it and how comfortable are you with how decisions are going to get made? My dad always told me that one of the first things to look at in any kind of a deal you're getting into is control and exit. So the control is how are decisions going to get made? If it's not you, who is it? And are you comfortable with that? The second is, if I don't like it, how do I get out of it? So get yourself comfortable with those two components, and I think you'll be just fine. In terms of goals and objectives, I think it's probably a little premature, other than kind of defining timelines for the process of developing these organizational contents that we talked about, and we'd be happy to give you copies of this outline that John was so organized to do for us. So we really appreciate that. And it is important to find metrics. What I found is it isn't, because one of your principles is volunteerism on your flag. And God love you for that. The thing you've been so successful at is that when you find people, especially business people, who are willing to give up their time and volunteer for anything, they need to know that their time and whatever money they contribute is producing the result they feel good about. So if you can show what you're doing is making a difference, people like Jen will feel good about continuing to dive right into it. Annual updates, I think at least annual, if not, certainly you should receive copies of the Kiska board minutes on an ongoing basis. Whatever other kinds of reports you would like, I think that's for you to decide. So with that, what questions do you have? What thoughts? How can we help?
All right, thank you very much for that. So I'm going to go down the row here, see if there are questions. And I saw Mr. Borden taking some pretty copious notes. So I invite all of you, actually, to start with everybody. I'd like to know if Mr. Borden or Ms. Benavides have something to add to this that might flesh out why they're part of this now and what they see, what they've experienced with the development of the Keizer-Iyo sister city process. Dealer's choice.
Okay.
Yes, it does.
Well, thank you for allowing me to be here this evening, and this is such an exciting time for the city of Keizer and myself to actually join on this board. I couldn't be more excited about a positive thing that's going on in our communities right now, and it's truly exciting for me. I have a 20-year-old daughter who has been in love with Japanese culture since the age of 7. She's probably watched more Japanese culture videos than Disney or anything of that nature. And it's been a goal of ours to travel to Japan and to go over and see Studio Ghibli's amusement park. We've been planning this for a long time. So when I heard from friends about this organization, we wanted to know how we could volunteer to help while the students came here so that she could start to engage with students and people that interest her. And so, yeah, my daughter and I came to a board meeting and lo and behold, they asked us if we want to be on the board. And I said, I don't need to be on another board, but if she wants to join, I'll join. And so my daughter is a board member as well. She is at Western University and working and is just so jazzed to be part of this. Where this goes, who knows? But right now, I think it's really great engagement for the youth of Japan to come over and learn about our Western world, I guess you could call it. We went bowling with the youth this weekend and we had to use a translator all weekend, and she gracefully went over after me and said, well, that's a Western world mom for you. So it was really cute. I just think that the more that you can open our youth minds to different cultures, communities, how finances work, how the world works, less boundaries there are, and there's just better involvement and costs for all youth. So I know that this is made for youth, but I'm fully excited to go. We're planning to go in February if we can come up with the funding, the board, and maybe some other host families and actually go over to, I don't want to say it wrong, Iyo, I always say it wrong, Iyo.
Yeah.
As a group and discover how we will work within that city, with our students as we send them there, or whoever goes there. And I think that's, it'd be really telling because we've had over 200 students come here and we have not sent any of them there yet. So I think building that relationship with Japan is really important at this point because we've been a host and now we need to go the other direction.
But to supplement that a little bit, in Iyo, the school district is part of the city. So they're a little different position than we are. And so they, from the beginning, initially the mayor and their school officials came over in 2009 to check us out. And we started it from there. And they initially started with an annual budget from the city of $75,000 US. I think that's gone downhill as most things have. And so instead of 16 kids, they're sending 14 and maybe be sharing the cost a little more with the families of the children. But that's an example of what they do with their. Doesn't mean we never expected anything from the city of Salem initially, and we haven't asked for any financial contribution. As I said, if there are ways that the city can contribute in kind, as you have with the event center, to minimize the cost of hosting, that's a great way to support the program. Get it over for John, yeah. So Jen mentioned that I don't know how much it's been discussed at this level, but in our presentation from our group leader today, he mentioned the fact that they're looking forward to having representatives from the city visit in February with the hope of using that as a final formal signing of the sister city agreement. And, that's about the only thing that's been agreed on, is that we want to try to do that by February. Who goes, who pays? Those are all questions to be discussed and so.
Mr. Borden.
Mayor Clark, members of the council, thank you for having us tonight again. Again, we're very appreciative of the waiver you gave us. I've been a host family for the last 10 years, I think, since inception. And with the exception of COVID, so I've been on that kind of side of the equation, and on this side of the equation, just getting this organization up and running it's always good to be on the ground floor and build something for the future. So I really enjoy doing that. And I think we would be remiss to say that Ed and Chuck have just been foundational to the student exchange side for this period of time, but also Adam and Lily have been wonderful support for getting us organized and providing excellent support for us. Lily has provided us some great feedback just to how we've approached this this reception and this transition from Salem to Keizer. And also, we really appreciate the patience of, Councilperson Starr because, she has, a lot of experience and, Mayor Clark has a lot of experience. And, we're in our infancy and they can kind of see our future and where we need to go and what we need to do to get there. So we appreciate everybody's patience and, we're trying to, take things one step at a time, but sometimes we don't quite know where we're stepping, and so we're getting some very good advice as we go along. But thank you very much.
Kind of like bowling at the right lanes, I think we would, appreciate whatever bumper bars we can have as we go through the process.
Sounds good. I'm going to start at this end and just kind of do a pass on questions, and then we'll probably have another go at it because as we hear the conversation, I think we'll all have more questions. Councilor Parsons, would you like to lead off? Anything to start off with?
No.
Councilor Kohler? Nothing at this time. Council President Starr?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I think this is exciting. I think being able to do a sister city partnership is great for Keizer, for Oregon, and for hopefully for Iyo. Yeah, so behind prefecture, right? Did I get it correct?
He may.
Okay.
Yeah, you were perfect on your, see, my wife was an elementary teacher, so I learned phonics. And Ehime is not pronounced the way I would have been taught to pronounce.
Thank you. So I'm good with questions. I will just say I've been through this process since it started, and I think the board and I will just say, let me preface my comments with this. I think that in my day job, I work with startup programs and startup nonprofits every day. And I think that the structure and the model that Kiska has taken on and the way that they're moving forward and developing is on point. I see every day that typical nonprofits start with the steering committee, right? And the people in the steering committee are not necessarily always the people that end up on the board. And that's normal, right? You have to have people to start it. And so, I think that where the development of the bylaws has come to is on point, strikes a great tone in terms of and what you laid out, Mr. Davis, about the ex officio members. I think that that's on point. I fully expect at this point that you don't need me anymore. And so I'm happy to turn it over as you've gotten new people on the board. I am happy to step away because you're organized. And so you don't need people that could potentially have, like myself, that have feel like they might have a conflict of interest. It's time for us to step away. You're incorporated. You have your what looks to be a almost virtual final draft of your bylaws. You filed your 1023. You are off and running. You're getting your insurance in place. Like all the things that I work with programs to do every day, you have done. And so just like I see in my day job, people step away, and I am so excited for you. And it's time for me to step away and let other people to come on board. So good job.
Frankly, one of the best resources an organization like this can have is a little notebook with expertise to call on.
Absolutely.
Doesn't have to always be on the board. Can have
That's right.
subcommittees and committees that do work, but don't have to be board decision makers. In fact, sometimes you need more people working and fewer people sitting around and talking about it.
Yep. So good job.
Thank you. Councilor Christopher?
Thank you so much for coming, and how lucky are you to have Jen on your board? She may be new, but she's powerful. And her daughter,
Some experience with that recently.
and I have a relationship with her daughter because she house sits for me. And so, and she's so good and so competent and took on my lunatic dogs. And she will be very good too. And I love that you have someone young on there that is so relatable to the kids that are coming. I mean, you know, we're old
We
people.
spent the last.
We're old people, Ed.
We spent the last few days with the kids. In fact, we took them through the Henry Keizer exhibit down at the Capitol on Friday.
And you mean Thomas Dove?
Or Thomas, yeah,
Yes.
Thomas Keizer. Henry Keizer's the auto guy. For old people.
Oh, they were probably buddies.
Yeah, yeah. And, you know, John got us into one of the the newly redone hearing rooms.
Downstairs.
So we had them sit up in a setting like this and
Nice.
play some games, and they had a ball. And, you know, now, you know, when they get picked up at night, we get hugs and they go home, and it's wonderful.
Good.
Our daughter was there 33 years ago. And she said she learned to speak Japanese by sitting up at night with her host daughters with their English-Japanese dictionary talking about boys.
I thought you were gonna say, well, that would have been a while ago. I thought you were gonna say they were on like TikTok.
Yeah,
Okay.
those are the kind of things, you know, most of us, when we meet people from other countries, we get along great.
Yeah.
It's just the government's screw up.
That's right. That's right. So my concern is exactly as Counselor Starr elaborated. The people that will probably go, if the funding can come together in the next 6 months, and that's a heavy lift. But if that can happen, the people that will probably go will be City Manager Adam Brown and Mayor Clark. That's probably who's going to go.
And whoever else goes is on minute.
Okay,
That'd be a suggestion.
but my question is this. As ex officio members, they're still there to provide their expertise, experience, and advice, but they are non-voting members. Is this correct?
Would be an ex officio, yes.
Yeah. So
Not at this time.
I would be more comfortable if our elected officials were ex officio, so that they're not, and I don't mean to ring alarm bells, maybe we go to OGEC and ask how this works, because they're going to be involved, I'm sure they're gonna be involved with the decisions that are being made by Kiska and the money that's being collected. How do we prevent that from being a conflict of interest? And I don't know.
Yeah.
So maybe we ask for staff advice from OGEC, and pending that advice, Adam, then we make a decision after that, whether you and the mayor stay on as ex officio or whatever they recommend. But let's be proactive about this before we get ourselves in trouble.
As of right now, Adam is the president of the board.
Closer to the microphone, please.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
As of right now, Adam was elected as president of the board, and John is serving as treasurer.
Mhm.
His daughter Leah is our secretary. And we have a vice president, I think, we don't.
Laura Reed.
Oh, Laura Reed, that's right. Yeah, so Laura is our vice president.
I'm worried about none of those. I'm just taking care of our own.
Yeah, and at this point, I don't know that Mayor Clark and Councilman Starr were designated as ex officio.
Not yet.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it.
Oh, good.
We're certainly, open to whatever is the comfort level of this group. But as of now, for our minutes, I believe I'm the only ex officio.
Well, I'd be more comfortable with that unless OGEC says we don't have a problem. And if they say we don't have a problem, I don't have a problem.
Would you like to hear from our bylaws? I don't know if you got to see them.
Actually, I'm gonna jump a little ahead of you if I may, because yes, Mr. Brown put that in. After the conversation at the last meeting, and I was listening to the things that need to be added, especially some of the things that Councilor Cross was, I was looking at the screen. Council President Starr was talking about, I took a lot of this structure and put it into a template that I use for some of my clients when we're developing nonprofit bylaws. I've sent that to, just for a first look, to Mr. Brown and Mr. Borden, and then that will come to the board if they so choose. It's up to the organization. But to Councilor Christopher's point, in that is a discussion item that's been highlighted about the status of the mayor and city manager as either board members or ex officio, and that will be a decision of the group. But that is on there as a talking point, so we can discuss that. And I really appreciate the look that, how does this work with
Yeah.
OGEC? And there are other cities across the state, Eagle Point, and what were some of the ones we met? Forest Grove.
Yeah.
That are doing this as well. So I didn't mean to jump on you, but
No, it's perfect. We haven't been able to see that yet, and once we.
I mean, it's literally, if it was wet ink, it would have wet ink. Sorry.
Mike Sewell, who's an attorney in Kevin Mannix's office, drafted these for us, pro bono. And so, we're kind of considering them in a rough draft stage at this point.
Yeah.
And mostly to get us to answer the questions we want, and then we can fine tune the
Yeah.
wordsmanship.
Does that help a little bit, Counselor?
Oh, yeah, like I said, if, I would feel more comfortable that they were not having or being required to vote on something where they will benefit from. But if OGEC is okay with it, I'm okay with it. So, that's all I care about is keeping us
Yeah,
clean.
100%.
John and I were talking earlier today that, as we've gone forward, in some cases, we've had a lot of in-kind support from Valor.
Oh.
So they've treated our group to bowling and pizza and karaoke night, which, Jen just went, and of course the mayor and her husband have to show off in the karaoke, so they got me. So it's one of those things where Chuck and I in the past have made a decision to go ahead and make a donation of $200 or something like that to Valor to thank them for that. That's less than it would have cost us to do the same thing. Those are the kind of decisions that, the board needs, the Pisgah board needs to establish a process for how are those decisions going to get made? Are we going to spend money into whom and when?
Yeah, and you're not our problem.
Yeah, well, but let's say, for example, we're trying to raise funds to send Mayor Clark and Adam.
And if
We certainly would not let them vote on it. Even if they were not ex officio, but those are the kind of things that have to get
Ironed down.
ironed out
100%.
Sounds great.
in the lingo.
Counselor Duran, I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, the kids were at the museum on Thursday,
Yes.
last Thursday.
Yeah.
And they had a great time and they were so intent and listening to everything Tammy and Kim Mann said, which are wonderful presenters. And of course, they all got to put on the beaver mittens.
Yep.
Always a winner.
And Rocky put together, I don't know if it's.
Yes. Oh, yeah, Robert had to put everything in Japanese
Yeah.
because he's a wonder.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
So that was really good, great start.
Awesome. Counselor Duran, anything? Counselor Cross, I see your hand up. Would you like to jump in?
Yeah, I think that as we were trying to be transparent and build community trust, I would say that I think it's important as we move forward to make sure that the community knows who the donors are, how we vote, what the costs of these trips are, especially if City Manager Brown and Mayor Clark go on this trip. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. All right, thank you very much. Absolutely. I'm gonna circle back around because I know now we've had time to think. Councilor Parsons, Councilor Kohler. Okay, I saw the microphone come down, so it's like, okay. Council President Starr.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I think.
Good one.
I think that I just want to bring forward the expectation is that there will be an MOU between the city of Keizer and Kiska.
That's
So
my question.
there you go. I just wanted to put that forward that just so everyone knows. And I think to that end, that is, I would envision that some of Councilor Cross's questions can be addressed in that MOU. So that, but that's, I think, I just wanted to circle back on that because that is the expectation.
I agree, and I would even suggest that the contents of that MOU would be a great place to start, because the expectations that will be outlined in the MOU
Mhm.
is gonna drive what ends up in the bylaws.
Which is why I'm pulling out and resigning from the board, because I don't think I should be part of writing an MOU that will then come before me that I vote on the dais. So, that's why it's time to step away. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and thanks for all your work. Counselor Christopher.
So timeline for the MOU? I mean, I'm a little panicked for you, thinking that there's a trip coming in 6 months. So timing on the MOU?
When would you like it? I mean, we're pretty hammered through it. I mean, getting everything, as soon as we get our 501(c)(3) and finalized, I mean, that's really where we're gonna be at with it. You're pointing
The city manager says it's ready to come to us, yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. We have a first draft of the MOU. And this was the kind of meeting we were in discussion. We're looking forward to add to that. So that we can send you a first
Okay.
iteration.
Awesome.
Mhm.
All
I
right.
wanted to make sure any other questions were addressed before we sent it over.
So one of the things I'd like to highlight is the various sectors that are encompassed in this program with a sister city. As pointed out in EO, the structure like education is part of the city, et cetera, et cetera. So part of the interesting exploring the differences between our system and the EO system has been creating the structure around our different sectors that looks different from EO. And in that process, identifying our 5 key areas that were enumerated in our memorandum of understanding with the city of EO on December 10th of 2025, and that is now posted on our wall here. So as we continue to develop that, working with our partners, and I think that is a real key for us. The Keizer-Iyo Sister City Association is going to be very much structured around the partners in those 5 key areas. So one of the things to talk about will be looking at the composition of the board to ensure representation from the different sectors in continuing to develop this relationship and the opportunity for exchange, informational, experiential, cultural, and economic across our 2 cities and our 2 regions. One of the interesting things with EO is that, like us, they're attached to their, by a border to their county seat. So, Matsuyama, thank you. Close but no wrong.
That's the capital of the prefecture, so
Yes.
they're their version of our Salem.
Yes, as the county seat. So a lot of interesting commonalities there. Councilor Cross, I see your hand up.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I guess a little bit of feedback on that. I'm the governor's appointee on the Oregon State Fair Council, and there is some elected officials that are advisory members and not voting members. So that could be an option.
Yep, exactly. Whatever. So sounds good. All right, I'm looking forward to the ongoing conversation and reporting back and working on this collaboratively between this nonprofit and the city. Just one more?
Just one more.
Okay, Councilor Christopher, just
So
one more.
I don't know how many people are on the committee. I know you sent it to us, like 7, 8? I don't know,
Yeah, I think close to 10 actually.
10. Is there
9 now.
Are there room for more? Are you looking for folks to get involved?
Yes.
Yeah.
And how?
What? Again, I think one of the decisions that this group will make jointly, once you have agreed on what the expectations are going to be in the MOU and how they mirror or complement what's in the sister city MOU, then that gives this board a good basis for saying, okay, what kind of a structure do we need?
Okay,
What's our decision-making process? Do we want an executive committee to make things go quicker, and then a broader voting board more often? And then broader participation for all of the work that needs to get done, the people that don't have to come to our meeting.
so Ed, is that, we don't know yet?
Well, in our rough draft bylaws, we have written the board shall consist of no fewer than 3 and no more than 21 members.
But so are you looking for additional members or not right now?
I think Councilor Christopher,
Microphone, please.
sorry,
We're recording.
I think, the short answer is that, we don't have the people right now, but what we're hoping to do is add to the board in tailored capacities along these committees with people in those areas of expertise that will kind of be the launching point so that we can, have people that are acquainted with tourism, economic development, and, we have kind of some educational expertise already. So that's a portion we're building out that will require some recruitment.
Great idea. So if folks are listening to us and are interested, shall they just call you, City Manager Brown?
They can really contact probably any of us, but.
But I think the easiest way would be go to the website, find you, and
Yeah.
then you can pass it on. Okay, thank you.
When I looked at Jen's post on LinkedIn,
Mhm.
I commented on it, and then she posted a copy of this flyer, which has a QR code. Oh my God, it said, if you're interested in donating or volunteering, go to the QR code.
Well, there you
Or
are.
we'll see if that works.
Perfect.
Councilor Starr gave us good advice in terms of, we started with not less than 6 nor more than 21 board members. And we had no idea where we were gonna fall in between. Councilor Starr said, why don't you make it not less than 3, because that's basically what the state requirement is. And my observation is that you get much over a dozen, it's pretty unwieldy. So as we talk through those things, we'll kind of figure out. And most of the boards that I have been and unfortunately continue to be part of, we've worked hard to try to find a variety. And Jen just reminded me of, in our bylaws, they're listed the kind of expertise we're looking for in terms of representation in the city. Community leadership, local and state tourism, local schools or school districts, cultural organizations, business and economic development, and Keizer city government in terms of input and so forth. So, you know, we don't want just bodies, we want a broad range
Working board.
of expertise so we can turn to somebody when we have a question that none of the rest of us are familiar with. So,
It makes it a lot easier if you got that.
absolutely.
Would you love a PR person, please?
You've made a good
Jan,
start
you
on that,
already got
Jan.
it. You.
And may I add one other thing about, the volunteers we need is I think they're gonna have an emerging need for host families in the future.
Right.
So that's the other part, so thank you.
Thank you. Also want to give credit where credit's due for some of the graphics. And I believe that was Laura Reed's sister, Jennifer.
Jennifer Johnson.
Jennifer Johnson did the graphic design for that. So huge thank you to her for that beautiful design. So bridging cultures, building friendships. And thank you, Jen, for getting us onto LinkedIn so quickly. Really appreciate it. And I'm sorry for jumping in on that one, but it was like, okay, this is evolving. Thank you.
And so for my final shout,
Actually, I want to give Mr. Brown a chance to shoehorn in, and then we'll wrap up if we may.
Exactly. I wanted to give you a framework for my experience in this with the other city in Oregon that I was with, had a long, very long sister city relationship. And the nonprofit associations on both sides of the ocean were really the keys to keeping that together. And so we've coined this first visit as a friendship visit, so that the members of Kiska and leadership of the city and others who have been involved in this program for the years that's been going on, the exchange program, they can go there, establish relationships. As I observed in this other city, the board members of that group and the board members of this group became very close friends and facilitated that, and the leaders established close relationships too. But that nonprofit board on each side was so instrumental in keeping the relationship going over the years. And so there, I think 35, 40 years that have this relationship. If you have an interest in going on that February trip, please let myself know. And because we're trying to put together a list of interested parties.
All right. And then we'll also have objectives that we as an organization and a city on our end are going with, so we have a purpose that moves this process forward, as well as, we hope, achieving the goal of signing the sister city agreement and launching us to the next level. Councillor Cross.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Adam, how long is the trip and how much is the estimated cost per person?
So we have, it will be between 4 and 7 days. The estimated cost right now, if we are covering the entire, or if we are paying for hotel, stay, food, and travel, is around $3,000 a person. But
With airfare?
yeah.
I find that, well, and I almost will challenge you on that because I'm getting ready to take a trip to China. So I would ask, and the airfare for that is 5,000 round trip.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's right now going into Matsuyama from Portland is around $1,200.
Okay. All right. So I would not challenge, but I would say relook up those figures because Senator Manning, who I work for, is leading the Oregon-China trade delegate in the fall, and it was $5,000 per person round trip. So I find it interesting to think that it would be $3,000 to cover hotel and airfare and food per person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would be my feedback on that.
Correct, can you hear me, Jen?
Yeah.
So in our first review, we looked at different options for all of us staying in one location. And that might not be encompassed in that amount, but was initially, it did cover the airfare in the 4 to 7 days. But when we revisited it in our last meeting, last Wednesday, we decided to go ahead and check with 2 different travel agents to confirm those numbers.
Okay, thank you. Just trying to get a overall figure on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure we'll bring that back before the board before we make final decisions.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Welcome.
All right. Anything to wrap up this evening from our esteemed panel?
Echo what John Morton said about how big a help Lily has been.
Oh.
She's been wonderful. She's forced us to actually do things right. She's been very gentle in the process.
Well, has everybody been invited? More.
I think that's true. You've all had an invitation, so I think we've been advised which ones we are coming, and if any of you who haven't responded and want to, please let us know. We'd love to see you.
It's going to be a wonderful reception tomorrow evening, and we get to celebrate the students that have been here and what they've been able to experience. Anything further from council as we wrap up this part of our work session? All right, looking forward to our ongoing conversation. Thank you very much.
Good job, team.
Yes. All right, gonna take a breath for a minute, and we are going to switch over to our second topic for the evening, which is for our, speaking of Ms. Vaughn, our event center update. And we received a very thorough report from Ms. Vaughn and the team in our packets. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Brown, Ms. Wood, and Ms. Vaughn. You guys, this is the microphone is yours.
I find the event center very exciting. It's one of the areas in my job where it's more on the fun side. We're really selling space, time, experience. That's a lot different than the water, police services, and municipal court. It's kind of fun to sit around and think about what the potential of the event center could be. So with that, we have a little bit of a presentation tonight. I guess one of the things I appreciate about my job is the location of my office. I can look out the window and I can see the parking lot, I can see the ballot box. I celebrate every election day as I see people driving through, dropping off their ballots. I can see the skate park, I can see the splash pad. If I look out my door just right, I can see the entrance into the event center. I can see all of the events going on. I've seen the lobby full of vendors for vendor shows. I've seen a bazillion future engineering kids in the lobby. I've seen people haul all kinds of funny things into the doors to celebrate weddings, birthdays, anniversaries, all those kind of things. So I feel really privileged for the spot where I'm at. But like I said, I think the event center is one of the areas that is the most interesting and the most fun. We have a lot of opportunity there. So tonight, what we're hoping to do is identify that one of the things in the strategic plan is develop a business and marketing plan for the event center. This is not complete tonight. What we're looking at is the beginning groundwork. Where I'm hoping that we can get some feedback from the council to make sure that we're on the right path. We do have that goal as something we want to do during 26, 27. Might carry into 27, 28 a little bit. However, time is of the essence with this. And I think that we're kind of at a point in time where we're ready to get going with it. So that's the first piece, kind of lay some of the groundwork, make sure that we're on the same page as the council as far as what your expectations are to go forward. Second question is, we adjusted the fee schedule in 2024. Is it time to look at that again? Yes or no? And then we'll come back with a little more detailed information depending on which way the council is leaning. And then the third piece, this has been brought up at several council meetings. Should we review the fee waiver policy? What should be modified, changed, adjusted there on a go forward basis? The agenda, we're going to do a quick overview of the event center, look at the current and future marketing plans. Again, not fully fleshed out, but at least that's kind of the direction we're headed. So we'd love some feedback from the council. Take a quick stroll down the financial history. Look at the labor policy and the history. We've done some work on the rate study, and we do have some recommendations, so we can go through those. And then we also have some capital needs, and kind of start working the process of how to accomplish some of those. And then the final piece is opening up the discussion. That's where you can drill us with all your questions.
Drill.
So if we move to the third page of the packet, the event center overview. We have a 9,000 square foot box. I find it fascinating to see what people can do with about 9,000 square foot box. Like I said, we've had weddings, we've had anniversaries, birthday parties, we've hosted proms. There's been prom here, but it's fun to watch them haul in all the prom decorations. What really makes us unique is, I kind of highlighted some of the words. We're highly adaptable, have custom layouts, we can meet a variety of needs, we're flexible. We're very flexible. You can do all kinds of stuff. We don't have anything set in stone where you have to have this here or that there. You know, over time, things have kind of made sense to, oh yeah, put the stage here or there. But we can accommodate just about anything. We can move projectors, screens, anywhere. We can handle all that kind of stuff. Another thing that makes us unique is we're also full service staffing. Some venues you go to, when you show up, you have a blank room. You gotta get out the tables, chair yourself, put up projectors, put things on the wall yourself. We're full service. When our clients show up, the tables are set where they're supposed to be, the chairs are set, the room's clean, ready to go. Our clients don't have to go through the effort of getting everything out, or at the end of the day, putting it all away. So that typically means that we have people working before the event starts to set things up. We have people during the event and during the setup time, in case their clients have any questions. We have a crew of people that come in towards the end of the event to get all the cake out of the carpet, get the noodles off of the walls, whatever may have happened. There is an infamous story about fish guts all over the hallway.
Oh dear.
Yeah, that was a long time ago, but every time, ask Tracy Davis about fish guts in the hall.
Noted.
Yeah, so but with that flexibility and the full service, there is kind of some cost to that. We do have to have staffing people here. For some of our more established clients, we may get the room set and leave. They don't necessarily need us because, you know, people like neighborhood associations, they know where stuff is in the closets. Rotary knows where stuff is in the closets. They can kind of handle their own thing, so we don't necessarily have to have people here. Other groups, we do definitely need to have someone here the entire time that they're here. So I'm not gonna go over all of the amenities, all the words. This is a lot of words. If I were to say this is our elevator speech, it's probably really long for an elevator speech, but this is what we kind of have to offer as far as the event center goes. Going to the next page, marketing. You want to take this one? Want me to keep going?
You can keep
Oh,
going.
okay, I'll keep going.
Wonderful job.
Okay, so historically, I get excited about the events that are honestly. I mean, we're not talking unicorn, we're not talking the rest of the people. I mean, this is great. You can really dream a lot. You get excited. So anyway, marketing. Historically, we've really relied on word of mouth. We didn't have a solid presence out there. We would have a lot of state agencies that would come here, use our facility, pass it on to someone else at the state agency or school district. One group would come here, and then all of a sudden we had 12 different groups coming here. So word of mouth. We're also known for the birthday party event location. We have a strong reputation in the area. Just about all the big quinceañeras are held here. We have a lot of weddings, those kind of things. And a lot of those are word of mouth. Where did you hear about us? It's always word of mouth. We're starting to expand. We have a website going, although we need to make some modifications to it so it's easier to get to. Lily's been really working a lot on networking. I can't take any credit for that, but she's out in the community, going to the different agencies, partner groups, networking kind of things. We've also done some advertising. One of the areas that we'll talk about a little bit later is a lot of the advertising is hitting the Mid-Willamette Valley. We need to figure out how to get out of the valley to other places where we get some of the larger midweek type of events. Just to get that name recognition out here. As we look to the future, one of the things that we're working on, that we have worked on over the last year, is updating some of our printed materials. So we're kind of working through some imagery, that kind of a thing that we want to get fairly consistent as we roll it out, and I'll show you an example of that in a minute. Like I indicated earlier, we're working on a website landing page. We want something where they can say Keizer Event Center and boom, it pops up for them. So that's gonna be a combination of addressing URL, also doing barcoding, QR codes, that kind of thing. So that's in process. We're also looking at doing some direct mailing to some of the customers, clients that have been with us before, but we haven't seen for a while. We're also going to try to identify some other people, association groups, those kind of things that we can say, hey, we got a great facility here, we'd love to have you. We're going to be working on our social media campaigns. I would say we don't have a super strong Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever you want to call it, a presence. Now that we have our print materials, the imaging kind of thing in place, we want to get that rolling out and get it on everyone's feeds as they do all their social media. One of the things that we also want to do when we do have events that come here, especially if we're providing fee waivers, those kind of things, we want to make sure that the event center is recognized. So we want to have event sponsorship, whether that's in our flyers, anything to get in front of additional people to say, hey, we're here, think about us in the future. So that's going to be in place. We also want to work on our customer relationship management CRM software. Right now, we have a package that kind of works. We think for a little bit more, we get something where we can get really the trends with the customers that we have. In any given year, we get between 350 and probably 380 individual events. So that's a lot of planning. That's more than one a day. Some of them are small, some of them are big, that require different levels of effort. But it'd be nice to be able to get some solid reporting of who was here, what did they spend, can we get back? Some of those kind of things. Lily's going to continue to attend industry-specific kind of events, so more event planners, government event planners, those kind of things. We're also gonna continue to increase our catering partners. We have a list right now. We'd love to see that grow significantly. Again, that's one of the flexibility aspects of our event center. We don't have on-site caterers. You don't have to use us for anything. You can bring in whichever caterer you want, and that is an added benefit for a lot of our clients. We're also going to continue to network other venues, and continue working on sponsoring tourism, networking kind of events. We've had a few groups come and check out our facilities. We've had a chamber of readers here a couple of times, those kind of groups. Travel Salem has been here, just other areas, other people that can say, hey, we got space here, come use it. So that's kind of the future marketing plan. If you want to turn the page.
I'm gonna press pause real quick, because this is a lot of material. Anybody have a burning question right now, or do you want to hold till the end?
Hold the end.
Okay, I do see a quick question at the end with Councilor Duran. No, you're ready? Okay. All right, just want to make sure that people don't forget their question.
Okay, so with
Oh, I like it.
next page, this is the previous and new marketing.
Mhm.
So kind of similar, there's a few key things that I want to highlight. In the new marketing in the upper left corner, we have we're playing off of the configurations of the different rooms right next to the Keizer Event Center. So that
I
we
like
want to
it.
kind of throw that out there and say, this is kind of the imagery
Oh,
that's
I
going to
like
be
it.
on all of everything, so that when you see that, you instantly know, oh, Keizer Event Center. On the very right, we have the city's logo. So again, another City of Keizer Event Center. Both of those, in all of our imagery going forward. And then also highlighting in fairly big letters the flexible event space. We are going to be working on getting a QR code website added to this at some point. So that way, we can, when that is out there, people can instantly come and find us. Right now, we do a lot of business through the phone. So that's why we have the phone number there. That's probably the primary way that people get a hold of us. Because really, they're on, do you have availability on such a date? That's the first question. And once we get beyond that, then we can identify the needs of their event. And a lot of that does require a lot of human interaction, contact. It's high touch. And again, we're selling an experience here. So the more human touch we can have, the more people feel good about coming here. Okay. Moving to the next page, this is our financial history for the last several years. Really, they get it cut off at the post-pandemic. So you're not seeing what happened before. In the packet, online, there's the entire financial history from the beginning of time. The event center opened when the building was built in 2008-9. We've had multiple kind of strategies as we've gone through time of how we're going to manage this thing. The first out of the gate was you had a third-party group try to manage it. Didn't work so well. Not for a couple of years. Then we brought it back in-house and we gave it to the city recorder. And again, if you go back to the previous city recorder and ask her how many times at 3 in the morning she was taking cake out of the carpet. Yeah, it didn't go so well because we had just the city recorder, and then we had a fleet of part-time temporary host people that were basically on call as needed. So if we knew events coming, we would try to scrounge up a few folks the day before, get the tables ready. A lot of times that was the city recorder setting the tables, to be honest. Over time, we realized that methodology, that strategy really wasn't working. So we brought in a full-time person dedicated to basically getting everything ready, doing some of the interaction with the clients to get paperwork done. That worked fairly well for a while. And then the pandemic hit. So we did shut down the entire event center during that time. When we came back on board, we immediately brought the person back and tried to get things going. And at that point, we realized things were kind of starting to go a little bit gangbusters, a lot of events. So we hired a second person to basically split up the responsibilities. We had one person that was assigned the responsibility doing all of the setup, cleanup, takedown. And then we had another person that was doing the marketing and administration side. And this really pulled the city recorder way back out unless there was a problem. And that model seemed to work really well for us. We were able to maintain, not a lot of issues, and it seemed to go well. So, like I say, 21, 22, that was the first year post pandemic. That's when we got our event center manager back on board. The following year, 22, 23, you'll see the personal services line start to grow. That's where we added the event center assistant, and that's the person who was doing all the setup, takedown, and everything. So by 23, 24, the event center was supported by 2 full-time employees, and then they also had a half-time shared resource. They were basically answering phones, doing some of the administration, that kind of thing, and helping as needed if we had issues with setups or something like that. 24, 25, we're getting a little more recent. At that point, budget committee got wild and crazy on me, took away the transient occupancy tax. We decided we were going to move that to the general fund and do something different with it, which is okay. That's fine. History of the TOT, in 2011-12, as we came out of the 2008-9 recession period, we decided to do something different with the TOT. Previously, we had been giving it to the fire district and to the chamber, a percentage of it, and keeping the rest for ourselves. During the recession, we didn't have enough TOT to go around, so we held it all for ourselves. 2011-12, we decided, the city decided that we would give 20% to the event center. That was all fine and dandy for a couple of years, and I believe it was 2014 or 2015-16. At that point, the city council budget committee decided, hey, the event center is the biggest draw we have really in Keizer. So we allocated all of the TOT to the event center. And it kind of remained that way until we got to 2024-25. Happy to say 25-26, we went back to giving 20% back to the event center. But having said that, if you look at the net income net loss, for 24-25, 25-26, and 26-27, we are looking at a loss for the event center. So we're going to need to think about doing something different as we roll forward to offset that loss. Realistically, what I think needs to happen, and this is kind of where my mind is going, is the charges for service number. We really need to get that to about 500,000, 600,000, to really have more of a break-even type of model. So instead of 360 roughly events, we're talking 720 events. We're gonna have to kind of work through the math and have to make sure that that's really feasible given the staffing that we currently have. It's gonna be a lot of work. Really, what would work out well, and we can talk about this later, is if we can get some of the bigger multi-day kind of events. Businesses, government agencies would really love a space where we can get Tuesday through Thursday. Those are the prime business meeting events, kind of days that we're looking for. So that's kind of in the back of my mind, the direction that we're headed as far as financials go. Let's try to double our charges for service, and hopefully we can keep control of the costs as we move forward.
We do have questions on this page when you're ready.
Okay, Tiffany.
All right, we'll go to, who's got a question on this page? Oh, Councilor Duran.
I don't know if it's necessarily the page that it's financial. I thought we were gonna order chairs 2 years ago, and I thought we had the money back then. Where did that money go?
The TOT went away, and that was the biggest support we had. So right now, the trajectory is we're using up all of our fund balance trying to maintain operations.
But that was budgeted
business.
right? Those chairs. So where did that money in the budget go?
We saved it, rolled it over to the next year.
So it was still there.
Correct.
It's not now.
Yeah, good.
Okay, all right. Councilor Christopher?
So personal services have increased dramatically from 21 to the budget amount 26, 27. Is that because we moved part of your salary in there?
No.
Why are there up? In 21-22, it was 75,000, now it's almost 300.
So 21-22 was probably half a year of one person.
Okay,
So it's just the annualization as you go through planning. So right now, that personnel services line item, that accounts for 2 full-time employees and then about 45,000 of temp labor on all folks that will come and help set up.
so none of you, I thought you were in that fund.
No, actually, that was part of the strategy is to get, well, at the time, the city recorder out, but me out. So I think I only have maybe 2 or 3% of my time was allocated to the event center. And that really comes in the materials and services line item.
Do you have the follow-up or thinking?
In Penwood.
Okay, shall I circle back?
Yep.
All right, Council President Starr.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have a few, but first of all, who came up with the logo?
That was local designer Andrew Jackson.
Brilliant.
I love that logo.
Yeah.
I think it represents us really well and it just feels good every time.
It's just brilliant. So I love it. I never would have guessed, but once you explained it, it was like, aha, and just brilliant. So my financial questions. You have on this sheet projection for 25-26. That fiscal year is over. How are our dollars in terms of our revenue?
Is your actual?
Yeah, I want action. It says projection, financial history. And for 25-26. So do we have actuals?
Those are pretty close. I just say projection because we're still getting some of our expenses in. We'll probably get expenses in until the end of August.
Okay, so we took quite a hit in service charges
We did.
for the year. Okay, do we know why?
We do. A lot of, there's, in some of the areas that we're struggling, the government, we partner with a lot of like ODOT, school district, those folks. Basically the state has stopped doing travel training.
Yeah, because we all have Zoom now.
Right. Some of them still appreciate getting together, but it's more of a financial constraint for them than Zoom. I think they like getting together, they like our space. And they just, basically there's a statewide call to stop travel training.
I mean, I can work with programs in Massachusetts from my living room now
Right.
with Zoom. So, I mean, I get it. So just curious about that.
Other thing, nonprofits have kind of scaled back as well. We're not seeing as many of them come and use our facilities. They've used, trying to think of some of the events that we haven't seen. It's slipping my mind right now. But also, we've also seen scaled back birthday parties because of political reasons.
Gotcha. Yep. Okay. And then can I go back on the marketing plan? I just have one question. So the Greater Oregon Chapter of Government Meeting Professionals is not the same as the Meeting Planners MPI, right?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, do we participate in MPI?
I have gone to a couple of their events. I've opted at this time not to join. I find that a lot of the material they present isn't relatable to here, given just the scale. A lot of them are hotels and have accommodations associated with venues as well as catering. I am open to the idea, and when I go, I do learn things, and I've met wonderful people through MPI. But I found that SGMP has a lot more applicable trainings and resources.
Fair. Thank you.
Anything further? All right. Councilor Kohler?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just a couple of things. Is the Orchid Society still our only Sunday renter?
I would say no. They are regular, and but if a customer calls to hold an event on Sunday, we will book it if we can, just like any other event. So there are no limits to what we can do on Sundays. We just don't have anything as consistent as the Orchid Society that meets every month on a Sunday.
Every month, first Sunday.
Follow-up?
Another question, are we working on partnering with any of the local hotels in conjunction with some of the events that we have?
I have met with local hotels. And I honestly have not had a lot of success. I've gone over there, introduced myself, and I haven't been able to get much follow-up in terms of partnership. I'd be happy to try again. I'd say it's been about a year and I haven't met the new hotelier in town either. So I think that's definitely worth a try. And I do think it would be really nice to list a hotel as a partner or to share some sort of promotion. I will admit I have tried and failed, but I'd be willing to try again.
Yes, that's one more.
Thank you. Last year when we did our Ed Harris Memorial Tradery, I partnered with what was the Wittenberg and the Best Western. And the advertising that we did that included them, when someone called and mentioned their event, they got a discount. So there may be a way to do some of that. Because it wasn't that hard to put that together for that event. So I would think maybe there's a possibility for others too.
I would love to follow up with you on that and see who your contact was and,
He's moved.
And,
Of course.
Yeah.
but I'm very open to picking up that conversation again with any of you.
Good from right now?
Good as I'm gonna be.
All right, we're gonna keep circling. Council Parsons.
My question is, on the caterers, there is a list, and if they're not on the list, they can't come here, is that correct?
That is correct.
And the reason?
We go through a process of making sure that they have insurance and then the appropriate, Marion County health permit, further permitting is in Marion County. Those are really the only two requirements.
And then once they've done that, then they can be on the list, is that correct?
That is correct.
So the insurance and the health authority
Just follow.
follow up?
What's the number? 3 million, 2 million, what is it? For the insurance?
1 million.
I believe it's 1 million.
1.
1 million.
We
okay.
changed it.
They changed it.
Yeah, we changed it.
Yeah, because it was higher
was-
than 1
yeah.
million, okay, sorry.
It was,
Was
It was 2 and we changed it.
It was-
That's
yeah,
right,
it was
okay.
pretty high. Councilor Croft?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So I have a couple sets of questions. So I want to start out with the 2 employees. How much do we pay maintenance, Tim? And Tim, I adore the job you're doing. Thank you for all that you do. I'm just gonna put that out that right there. Okay, how much do we pay maintenance?
It's probably,
80 grand a year?
probably more than that, we had first one.
Yeah, with all the stuff. Okay, so I walk through there and this is my field house. So I walk through and I see all the things. I see our air walls. I see our floors. I see lots of things that do not have day-to-day maintenance. So in my opinion, we are now getting our 80 grand a year. So I will put that out there and I will leave that to you. I think that you have been put in a situation where you're leading a team for events in the civic center that's not your wheelhouse. You just put into something. So I appreciate your efforts and insight with all that. So I want to just put that out there. You're doing the best job that you can. But when I walk into that facility, I see holes on the floor in the tile that are filled with weird gel. I see lights that are flashing when I go into council. If I am getting paid 80 grand a year, that's my job. And along with what Councilor Duran said, we've had chairs, AB on the budget list for the last 3 years. On my 4th year, and we still haven't gotten it done. That's a problem and that's an issue. That's for you as leaders and the city manager to decide on. So I'll leave that there. And in regards to Lily, I adore you, you know that. I think that there is quite the opportunity to engage with if Adam City Manager Brown has already had relationships with the new hoteliers, why don't you have those relationships? He's already contacted them in regards to a TPA and TLT. Why aren't we conversing within each other? We need to lift each other up. So those are my comments.
Thank you. Just for the record, the flooring out in the lobby that has the gel, that's actually the fill for the slate. So just want to put that out there. Anyway, that was a lot of questions, and tackle them one at a time. If I could go to the last one, there was a question on capital improvements, and I believe we're going to be coming to that slide. So can we press pause on that one?
Yes, let's get to that.
Okay, but I want to go, Councilor Christopher, if you have a follow-up question.
I do have a couple of questions. I do want to say, I hear her concern on the tile. It does look funky, but I understand it's the legitimate repair for the tile that is there. That's.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. So what I want to ask is, on future marketing, updated print materials, you say we do have them? We have updated print materials?
They are in process, so
They're in process. When will those be done?
as soon as we can possibly do them. Like I say, the new marketing came out, well, we got the buyout on it maybe, 2 months ago? And so it's getting out into some of our advertising. I'm gonna be taking this, and I think the design work is done, we're basically to the point where we need to print it.
So when will that be done? I understand as soon as possible, but when's as soon as possible? Like, and I don't care what, I just kind of want to know how long it's going to take us. Like, is it a month? Is it 3 months?
I would think probably 1 to 2 months.
Okay, no, I'm not being critical, I just want to know.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, and then, but the update to the website landing page is done.
Not yet, no.
Oh,
It's in progress.
I'm sorry, and what's the timeline on that, Tim? Same, 1 to 2?
Probably, yeah.
Okay. And then I just had a question on, what is event sponsorship record? Oh, you mean,
Like when we waive a fee.
then we want a big sign that says City of Keizer was hosting this or a sponsor. Okay. Okay, never mind on that. Thanks.
All right, thank you very much. I also want to also follow on with the question about the maintenance staff and so forth. The maintenance for the event center and the maintenance for the remainder of the building, that's handled slightly differently. Is that correct?
That is correct. The overall building maintenance is handled by the Public Works. Anything within the event center itself is handled by the event center crew.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that clarification.
I didn't understand this.
You want to repeat?
It's
Yes.
handled by the event center crew?
That is correct.
You, wait a minute. It's handled by the event center crew? So like maintenance, Lily's doing maintenance on the event center?
That would be correct.
I do
Okay,
get help.
who helps you, Lily?
We have John. I don't know if all of you have had the opportunity to meet John Holtor,
Okay,
but we have a long list of ongoing maintenance projects we're working on.
so you have it all itemized and then prioritized,
Yes.
and then John, the maintenance man, works on them.
Yes.
But is that kind of, why isn't that part of the maintenance for the whole building? I don't understand that.
Used to be.
Yeah,
No,
what's the
actually-
dealio?
But it just became too much.
Oh, for one
The
person?
whole, yeah, one person for this entire building and all the grounds outside. It's too much for one person.
Okay, so that's why it fell to the event center, but you're not like washing walls and stuff, are you?
I can and will do and have done any job that needs to be done over there. I'd say the only thing I haven't done is gotten on the lift to change light bulbs.
Well, my God, get on that list. I didn't realize that.
Mhm.
I didn't realize that. And so now John is employed by the city? And is he a part-time or full-time person?
He's full-time, he's also the person who does all of the setup work as well.
Okay, great. So he's dedicated to the event center. Well,
Correct.
thank goodness for that, hey, Lily? Okay.
And that's why I want to make sure that we're clear that we have, this is a extremely large facility. And the specialty required for the event center itself with the, the walls, all of that, the familiarity with that, I think is one of the benefits of having people dedicated to that space in my observation of how that space is managed. So I want a clarification on that. And then, Council President Starr.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. First of all, Tim, I love seeing you excited and giddy about working on the event center. So thank you. It's numbers are not my thing, but I appreciate you getting giddy and excited about just about working on this. I also wanted to say
Numbers aren't your thing.
They're kind of her thing. I know, I saw the same thing.
They're like,
not like Tim. Not like Tim. I have had the opportunity and the pleasure to oversee some events that have taken place here in the event center. And I want to express my appreciation and my personal experience for John and Lily as well. I haven't had the opportunity to work with Lily really during an event, right? It's typically been John. And he gets a gold star for my neurotic event tendencies when putting an event together.
I'm sure that's true.
Yeah, like double, triple gold stars. But staff is great to work with, and so I wanted to follow up with that and just express the quality of staff that we have working to keep the event center going, both during the day and in the evening during the events. So there isn't something that for me personally that I didn't ask to be done or get something coordinated and going right, and John just did everything he could to make it happen. So I wanted to give that feedback and encouragement to the staff.
Thank you.
absolutely. Thank you very much. Did you, Councilor Kohler, did you have a question?
I did. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Recently, we've been talking about some AV enhancements. Is that for this area or is it for all of that also?
Excellent question. It's actually a two-parter. We want to get council chambers dialed in first. And then if we're happy with what we have here, then we're going to expand to the event center.
Okay. Thank you. Lovely. All right. Thank you very
Yeah.
much. Yes,
The
Mr. Brown.
money for the capital part of this audiovisual improvements, it comes from the television dollars that we have that we can only spend. PEG fund, thank you. So that's why we're able to do this, and it results in a significant annual savings.
Yeah, those funds are only allowed to be used on equipment, and so we're going to be able to invest them properly. I appreciate that. As for, just to follow up on that, we can use that on any area of the building. The event center is also eligible for the PEG, that stands for Public Education and Government Funds. Is that correct?
I would have to look at that. I don't think that's correct. I think
Okay,
it's limited to whatever feeds into the Comcast.
I think she is right. It is public education and government.
Well, that's what the acronym stands for, is the equipment that we can purchase with that and for what purpose.
Right.
And it's in the updated franchise, so, and I don't remember the exact language, but I know that you all do. All right, thank you, appreciate that. We do, I see Councilor Cross has a question, then we'll go into the, what we keep on hinting at, which is the next steps and the capital improvement. Councilor Cross.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. So just a follow-up question. So are we still investing in AV, Tim?
Not right now. I have $200,000 loss. I need to figure out what to do with first.
So,
AV.
Oh,
Okay, good.
well, that's unfortunate. So when I got sworn in, that was one of the key priorities. And then we've had key events where where AV has been kind of
Yeah.
a key issue. So who decided that we're not investing in that? When we budgeted for that, I've sat through budget meetings where we decided to budget for that. So who decided that we're not doing that?
Well, I suppose our financial statement said that, when we're having a loss such as this, we have to get sustainability first.
Okay, so anyone, because again, we're building community trust. So we have, stop, pause, whoever just spoke, I'm talking. So we have had budget committee meetings where we've decided to invest in the AV for the Civic Center. And then internally, city manager and staff have decided not to, but we don't know that as a council. Is that what you're telling me?
No,
Mayor, can I
so,
respond?
yes, and. So looking at the budget is a spending plan and the dollars have to be there. And we have been able to collectively work through what we can do when the dollars are there and project ahead what the needs are for the event center, separate and apart from the city.
I understand that, Mayor, but this was on our budget 3 years ago.
Understood, and economies being what they are, and it's on this financial history page. I'm gonna go over to Councilor Christopher.
Yeah, Councilor Cross, I just wanted to respond to that and say, when we're looking at a net income loss of $241,000, and that's what we're here to talk about is how are we going to try to correct this loss or minimize this loss? I gotta tell you, Councilor Cross, rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic is, I don't think that's where we need to focus. I understand your frustrations. I hear your concerns. I share them. My
Yes.
bigger concern is that we have a $241,000 deficit. And so let's keep the ship
Well,
afloat.
Yeah, no,
Before
I hear you, Councilor Christopher. I am just making a point of saying, when we make commitments to the city and
Yep.
as a budget, we need to maintain those commitments because that's where community distrust lays.
But remember what a budget is. It is our
guide.
best guess at what's going to happen.
Yeah, best
Based on
guess.
history
Yep.
and based on the future, it is our best guess of
Yep.
what's gonna happen. Sometimes it works.
100%. So if I'm just a person that doesn't live and breathe politics, they don't understand that. So I'm all about letting people know what happened. So
Okay.
when microphones don't work at Keizer for Citizen, this is what happened.
Yeah, I mean, none of us are happy about that. But I still think we have to set priorities. The priority right now is the 241K that we're not down.
And I 100% believe that we're not managing that civic center the right way. That's all I have to say.
Okay.
Council President Starr.
You know what, Madam Mayor, I'm gonna bite my tongue.
So what we're going to do is move forward now to talking about, and this actually goes with some of the questions are barriers to growth that have been identified, and then we're going to look at a couple of things that we need to work on that will start making adjustments as per staff recommendations for discussion. So, Ms. Wood, Ms. Vaughn.
Thank you. So a lot of these I've already hinted at throughout this presentation, barriers to growth, how we're gonna double our revenue. Name recognition beyond the local area. I think that's gonna be pretty critical to drive some of the bigger, conventions, events, kind of a deal. Something that will happen in the middle of the Tuesday through Thursday crowd. Hopefully at the state level, state government, will reverse the travel training ban. So we'll see some of our government agency partners come back, school district, ODOT, DHS, they were some of our biggest customers for a long time, so we're hoping to see them back. The general economic environment, inflationary pressures, that's really kind of holding the corporate business kind of folks steady. We haven't lost any ground, but we're not gaining any ground just yet. So they're still kind of getting the wait and see what happens kind of approach. Political environment, again, after we're seeing the social spending for the birthday parties, weddings, that kind of stuff, shrink on us. What we need to do is figure out how to maximize our opportunities for multi-day events, specifically the Tuesday through Thursday. The challenge we have with that is we have local groups come in and meet during the week for a couple hours maybe. That limits our ability to have a 3-day event because we can't carve off one room quick enough to meet their needs, then carve it back to meet the needs of a larger scale event. So we need to look at maybe putting 1 week together where we have all the neighboring associations meet that week. Look at seeing what we can do if someone has a recurring lunch at 12 o'clock on a Wednesday, we can move that to a Monday or a Friday to give us the opportunity to be able to have a Tuesday through Thursday kind of event. I've been told that we've actually had to turn away some events because we've had recurring groups that we couldn't get moved out of the way. So that's
What? Tell me that again?
we've turned away multi-day events because of recurring events that we couldn't get moved.
Well, you couldn't move the events to another day.
Correct.
Or another space in the building.
Because they've already committed to like every
Right.
third Thursday of the month.
Right.
Ah,
So if we can consolidate some of those to the same week, then that would give us 3 other weeks a month where we could have some of the bigger kind of events.
okay.
So we're working on that. Just in general, this is positive and negative. We don't have lodging and food service on site. So there's not a hotel connected here. I'm sure we can go 3 blocks to either way to another hotel. However, some groups like that convenience of being able to walk right to their events. Same with food service. We have a catering kitchen. We don't have a full-on kitchen, so you can't really cook there. You can bring in whatever you want, but we don't have a restaurant on site.
So, can we stop there?
Let's finish this list and I've got questions popping up.
Okay.
And then also access to after-hours amenities. Really that's within walking distance. Starting to get a little bit better around the hotel areas, but that's been kind of a limiting factor. It'd be great to have a movie theater or something out there that would, attract some of those staff, something to do after hours when their event's not going on. So that's, I'm sure this list is not all inclusive. I'd love to add some more if there's things that we can think about to start working around some of the obstacles. So with that, I think there's some questions.
And I want to preface this with some of these things are in our control. A lot of these are not. So what I'm hearing is what are our opportunities to recognize the things that we don't control and adapt what we are doing here to maximize the opportunity to serve our local community with this space. Would that be a fair statement?
That's correct.
Okay, with that, I'm going to go to Councilor Parsons.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So I just want to give the history piece too. When we built this facility, we built that as a community center, not an event center. And I think that's why things are the way they are. And when you turn a community center into now this gigantic event center, then that takes a lot. And you have to rethink everything you do to do that. So remember, when we built this building,
It was auxiliary space that we used as a community.
right, but it was built for our neighbors in Keizer to come in and use it.
Till we needed it.
Till we needed it. That was the thing. And so it wasn't built to handle, that's what I'm saying. It was not built to handle all these events that we are now doing.
That's your response to like the catering kitchen thing?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think so too.
We're going to need a pretty good staffing.
yeah, right. I remember I shampooed those carpets one time in there.
Oh, I'm sure you did.
So, so to change what we've done, I'm not sure that we can really say it's a loss because we've had to pivot
Growth.
all the way around. So now we just have to find a way to get that running smoothly to get it back into the positive.
Maybe.
So that was my question. our answer
Or statement.
Or statement, there you go.
Sharing your thoughts. Counselor Kohler.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. My understanding is that we have an agreement with Rotary that a certain number of times a year that we can move them without violating our agreement with them. Is that?
That is correct.
That's correct.
Move that up to 4 times a year.
Has that been a problem?
No, no, I don't know.
Oh, good.
Yeah, no, I understand they've been super flexible. I want to follow on the comment about the evolution of this space. When this was built, we knew we wanted space for the community because getting together is important, and it's been definitely something we've learned by doing. But I think one of the telling things is that it's been so successful and popular that people feel so welcome here that they want to come back and bring their friends. And we just have to figure out how to continue to provide for that. There was things we had to learn about what to do and what not to do. And there's been a lot of growth over the years, but people still want to come here. And I think that speaks very highly of the desirability of Keizer.
I think that's part of it. I think terrific parking,
Yes, indeed. Free
easy
parking.
access right off I-5. I mean, all of those things are like, I mean, Lily is friendly and welcoming and wonderful. But I'm telling you what, if it's between her and a parking place, I'm taking the parking place. Because in a lot of these venues, there's no very limited, it's just not as accessible as we are. So it's a winner, and with the living room, it's a winner. I mean, it's a winner. So let's talk about this.
Yeah, let them keep on evolving it, for sure. Counselor, Duran, do you have anything? Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped you.
No, I'm good.
And then I'll just back.
Yes, my only thing is, looking at the waiver policy, that's the room that we can adjust, we can figure out how to adjust in the positive. Do you guys have recommendations? I mean, one of them I heard was moving things around so you can have multi-day events. What, could you give me a ballpark on what needs to be, if we modify things to the best of our ability for what we already allow usage here? What kind of numbers do you think we could see in the positive? If we did our best juggling with what we already have? Can you give me an idea? Have you guys looked at that? And said, if these people moved here and we took we had 3 days in the middle of the week, this would give us 40 grand a year, 100 grand a year. I mean, what's the best we could do?
Good question. If we look out the entire event center 24/7, we're talking about $2.8 million.
Well, 24/7.
That's right.
We're not gonna have people here from midnight till 8
I'm
AM.
looking for the Vampire Society.
Yeah. So being realistic in real hours, what would we make?
So if you say, okay, well, half the time we're all asleep, so that gets you down to about 1.6 million.
Okay.
Then figure you got weekends, gonna be kind of the mix. The challenging part that we're trying to work through is how do you have back-to-back big events? What would that take? And that's the same issue that every event center has. How do you turn over a room starting at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night and have it ready by 7?
Yeah.
That's a challenge without burning out your staff. I mean, not a lot of folks particularly like the midnight shift and cleaning carpets. So that's a challenge. So realistically, when we start doing the math, I'm still in that $600,000 to $700,000 range as being the max of this facility.
The what?
Half the max, 600,000 to 700,000, and we would be.
That's the best you think we can do?
Right now, if I put my pencil to it, maybe some might grow some, but I think that's the max that I can do. So realistically, with some of the bells and levers, especially with the fee waivers, if that's the direction that the council wants to go, I think we're probably looking 30, 40, 50,000, 30 to 50,000 range in there. We flip the switch and, some of those things would start to resolve themselves. But that's a major hit to the community. So your question, as Councilor Parsons was alluding to, this was built as a community center first. It's evolved over time because we realized a community center costs money. And And we didn't have any money to dedicate to this. There's utilities, someone has to come up after Rotary and vacuum the floors, put the table chairs away. Well, back in the day, the Rotary would do a lot of that. You know, it was less full service. So we would make all the clients do that, and then it was struggle to find people, Tracy Davis was in here vacuuming after Rotary. And that's just what we were doing. That wasn't a sustainable model. So the idea was, okay, well, let's start seeing if we can attract a few businesses, some groups come in and use those and have paying events. And we'll take some of those dollars and we'll flip it over and we'll use it to take care of community groups. It's kind of grown and now everyone kind of wants to use it when they can. So our strategy is we want to be sustainable. We want the paying customers to be enough to offset the cost of the community groups.
That was the plan.
And that's been kind of the plan, and we've never done it. We've never done it in the entire existence of the event center. And so we've always had to augment it with TOT dollars, something like that, try to keep the cost down. So that's kind of the history. And now we're here with the TOT, not all hitting here, so we got velocity, so we have to figure out how to deal with this. Do we want to jack it up and have this be event center crazy? I mean, if we had events every week, that's a lot of wear and tear. I think we can do it, but by a little bit of the staffing, just to make sure that we can meet all the responsibilities of set up, putting up, tear down, that kind of a thing. Or we could say, let's go back to the community-based group and have everyone put out their chairs and tables and start billing people as they went back and doing that. The range of options, we have a great space that's very flexible and a lot of people like coming here and using it. So specific to the waiver policy, you guys have seen the policy. So.
Okay, I'm gonna press pause because I've got questions popping up all over the place. So I want to see if we can do this in an order. Councilor Cross has had her hand up. I'm gonna go to her and then let's go ahead and work through this waiver policy proposal, and then we'll go into the rate study and recommendations. Okay, Councilor Cross.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So my first is a statement. Again, thank you, Tim. Thank you, City Manager Brown. I don't think that my first statement is I don't think every city event center runs in a deficit. So I know that for a reason. The convention center has never run on a deficit in Salem. So I'm going to state that just from the beginning. And then my next question is for both of you. Do you think that the way we're running, the city of Keizer is running the event center, are we being an asset to our city, the way we're running it? And that question is for both of you.
Madam Mayor, Council, so I do know for a fact that the Salem Convention Center has been subsidized to the tune of $500,000 by their transient occupancy tax.
Do they get that on an annual basis?
Fairly common.
Do they? Okay.
Yeah. Sure. I know that because I asked a budget analyst and they sent me the budget page numbers and budget page. Is our building an asset? I do believe it's an asset. Can we do better? Always. We're always trying to do better. This is a good one.
And another thing that I would add to that is the opportunity for businesses to do business, our local businesses, our caterers, event planners, et cetera, et cetera. This is a space where they can be hired to do their work. The city of Keizer does not benefit directly because we don't get a percentage. We don't get anything from that except being a space where economic activity occurs. And that I believe sets this facility apart from others that are run a little bit differently. So
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Well, follow up to that, Mayor. The question was I should have asked fiduciarily year to year. Does this benefit our city?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
I
Well,
think that this.
you just said that we're losing money this year, so I want Tim and Adam to answer that question.
So, thank you, Madam Mayor and Council, and Councilor Cross, for the question. It, as many, municipal event centers and spaces, are subsidized, it is a policy decision, by the governing body to decide whether that asset is worth subsidizing. If we were a business, we were making a case of why we should keep it or not. If money would be the bottom line, then we should probably say, yeah, let's get out of that business. And, but that is a policy decision. When we're maximizing in this, one of the biggest hits that we've taken this year is purely for political reasons, because of the executive office and fear of gathering for specific crowds that we are normally leased to. That audience is afraid to gather. Again, and that's not a judgment on any political side, that is just a reality. We have seen a huge loss in that sector of our business.
In the government sector?
No, in the private rental.
Okay, thank you. I would like to hear Tim's answer.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Brown.
the responsibility for answering for the city really comes through me,
Thank you.
and I think I have to address that question.
Thank you very much. We're going to go to the waiver policy and history. This is one of the decision or the conversation points that staff has brought to us to consider as one of the options to adapting to our reality and the realities of our cost. With that, I'm going to go to Mr. Brown, Mr. Wood.
Sure, thank you, Madam Mayor. So I see the time is starting to get a little bit late for us.
Oh, it is.
Move along as quickly as I can.
Thank you.
However, feel free to have all the discussion you want. I'm here all night. It's gonna be fun. So the waiver policy, I show that to you every time you waive fees or have to waive fees. It's completely discretion of council, how you want to do that. We have over time established that we don't waive the deposit because if someone you're gonna do something, it's hard to get money from someone if you don't have a deposit. We've also decided over time that we don't waive security charges for groups that have alcohol. And we don't waive the insurance requirements. So those are some of the things that through time council has established as practice. So with this fee waiver policy, it's really at the discretion of council. There's a range of options, a continuum of sorts. We can continue on with this type of a policy where it's solely at the discretion of city council, or city council can give us staff enough policy to say these are the parameters, these are the guardrails of when a fee waiver would be appropriate. Then city staff can take the first hit to say, okay, this qualifies it for a fee waiver. We'll grant it to you under this policy. However, I suppose the clients still have the opportunity to say, hey, I'm going to go and petition the city council and they can do that in the public testimony. So like I say, there's a range. We can keep the control of all of council, or the council can establish a policy that directs staff and how to handle these things. The benefit of the staff handling it is, I don't know if you noticed, some of our city council meetings are a little long. This would take out one of the things that you have to address during the city council meeting because they'd be handled behind the scenes by staff. And if the groups want to come and promote their events, they just have to do that and talk during the public testimony time. So that's kind of the range of options as we look at it. Flipping to the next page. I went back and looked through what was waived. The chart on the left, this is by the year in which it was waived. It's not by necessarily when the event was held. So that's why you're seeing a lot of events in the 24, 25 area. Some of those events we've moved to a different category. We waive fees by contract, so that would be with like chamber or Rotary. Some of their big events we used to do fee waivers, and we decided It's for the benefit of the public, let's go ahead and say you got it through a contract arrangement. There's other items that through the actual resolution itself that we waive. So that would be neighborhood associations, community library, book sale, those kind of things. So those are the type of events that we're trying to get the paying customers to offset the cost of. So these are the really the benefits the community is seeing, that we're able to put on some of these events with minimal cost to the people putting them on. Looking at the next page. This is the current rate structure. Staff is not recommending a rate change at this time. However, we are recommending a CPI starting July 1, 2027. The benefit of that would give us 9 months to start talking to our clients, the government agencies, and saying, hey, there's going to be a rate increase coming. Sign up now. So we get some more things on the books. That's part of it. Also, just as we did the 2024 rate increase, it was important for council at that point for us to reach out to those folks and say, hey, it's coming. So we don't catch anyone off guard. So that's why I'm recommending we push it out to July 1, 2027. Then at that point, base it off of the CPI. One of the biggest costs we have is, as you folks have identified, is payroll. So base it off of the payroll index that we use for cost of living, something like that. If we need to readdress it at some point because that index is not keeping up with our costs, or some structure has changed, and then we can readdress that with council at that point. So again, we're not necessarily recommending a change in the existing rate structure. A few of the provisions of that structure we are recommending a change to, specifically the discounts. Currently, we offer a 25% discount to Keizer residents. It's amazing, all of our birthday parties, someone knows someone in Keizer. So I don't think there's any non-discounted birthday parties. And they take a prime time.
But it says residents,
Right,
so the resident books it.
right.
Mhm.
But we can always find a resident.
Let's face the bill.
40,000 of us here that will fill out the form for them. So,
Okay,
we also offer 25% discount to Kaiser-based 501Cs. We also offer a fundraising rate, one time a year. It's for Irish Room or the entire ballroom for $600, and that's for 12 hours. We
what's
also
the
offer-
regular rate?
The regular rate is $3.25 an hour.
It's a huge discount.
So 30 cents.
Yeah, that's correct.
Very big.
If you look to the next page, these are some of the groups that we've looked at when we look at our rates to come to the determination that, yeah, I mean, we could always fix the rate, but we don't necessarily feel like we have to get it right now. So when we get to the point of coming back to council with a proposal of reducing the rate you want to pay, we'll have more detail so you can see where exactly we line up with some of these different groups. These are some of the people that we've got through. It would be really nice if we could find another 9,000 square foot event center that has set up the 11 configurations and they exactly agree with what we do here. But this is like comparing apples to oranges to bananas to kiwis.
We have the whole fruit bowl.
Right, it's fruit salad here when we try to compare anything.
Yep. Okay, staff recommendations.
So page 13 is the recommendations. Right now, like I say, we're saying keep existing hour rates the same. However, on weekend events, don't offer the 25% discount for Kaiser residents.
Wait, tell me that again?
For weekend.
For weekend events, don't offer the 25% discount. The weekends are prime time. That's,
I agree.
and that's
Yeah.
prime time. We want to get a maximum dollar, and hopefully some of these groups might say, hey, we can do it 25% cheaper if you're coming on a Wednesday or a Thursday.
Every
Yeah.
venue is doing that right now, demand pricing.
Okay.
Yeah,
So that's kind of what we were recommending, and then, like I say, start a CPI-based rate increase in July 2027.
Okay.
Next one, this is more of how we've actually been operating, so this is more of a change it from Kaiser-based 501Cs to 501C organizations that serve Kaiser. We've had a few groups that have gotten fee waivers. They weren't based here, but they served veterans, they've served dogs, they've served kids in this area. So we want to kind of treat them the same because we're seeing some benefit in our community.
Wait, so
Do you want
when
clarification?
you,
Yeah.
so when you say Keizer-based, you're saying their business is here, but they don't serve here. Is that what you're
They may
saying?
not, so Kaiser base, they could have their headquarters here in Kaiser, but maybe they're doing all their work in downtown Salem with the homes, or,
Okay,
what we
okay,
want
I
to
just wanted
recognize
some
is.
clarification. So
Right.
Keizer-based means they live here, but they don't work here. And organizations that serve Keizer is they don't necessarily live here, but they serve here.
Right,
Okay,
Correct.
got it.
yeah.
Well, it could be both, where they're based here and they also serve here.
Yeah, okay.
The other thing we want to do with big events is change the minimum rental period from 8 hours to 12 continuous hours on weekends for the Irish bar, and that's the big one, or two of the big rooms. What we're finding is people will say, well, I only want to come in for 8 hours, which is the minimum on Saturday, but can I come in Friday to set up? If we're gonna do a fee waiver.
We know that.
We
And they don't need to
12
do
hours
that.
on Saturday.
Yeah.
If you want to come in Friday, we're gonna do it.
Yeah, we've had several of
totally
those
agree.
conversations,
Okay.
so, yeah, we've had several of those conversations recently with, individuals, so we can have an overarching policy that's really clear. Then we have no, miscommunication with our fine organizations. So,
The other recommendation is that we change the fundraising rate from $600 to $1,200. This is for big events,
mhm.
The regular rate's 3,900.
right?
And then if they get a discount, they get 29.
Or like 50%.
I'd say 50% at the most.
Sorry, and I'm a nonprofit person.
I agree, I'll take that feedback. Our rationale was just to cover our costs, that for the staffing, for the setup, time during the event, and for the cleanup afterwards. If the
That's
council
swell,
wants
but
to
we
go-
ain't covered our costs.
So does the 1,200, you just outlined the basic things that 1,200 would cover.
Correct.
So I've got two questions. One, does it also have a carve out or, some way to start accounting for wear and tear on the building? Like when we do, mileage with, GSA and say, okay, if you get this certain mileage rate, it's not the cost of your gas. They've also done some calculations. I mean, heading off from Mr. Brown. What it also does to the vehicle, because there's wear and tear on that as well. Can we start, and I know it's a lot more complicated math, to start to look at that as well, because all of the large events do have a wear and tear on our building. We love that they're here. We love that they're using the space. And that cake is really tough on the carpet and the sparkles.
I think that starts to get confusing. I think we.
Yeah, keep it really simple.
Yes, keep it simple.
Yeah. But I want to see that 1,200 or whatever that number is, start to incorporate into that.
Well, it's 1,900 now.
I'm sorry, Council President Starr.
Thank you.
Yes, jump in.
I think that, I think Mayor Clark is correct. And I really would like to advocate for the 1950 because I don't think that takes into account the cleaning of the bathrooms. Right? It doesn't take into account, janitorial. It literally is taking into account the staff time to cover, staff the event and set up for the event. It doesn't take into account the cost of the electricity. Right? Whether that's air conditioning in the summer, heating in the winter. It doesn't take into account, if it is in the winter and you have somebody sprinkling the little ice pellets out here to keep it from being slick. It's not taking into account that. It's not taking into account the high rise to change, the light bulbs and things like that are in the hallways. And so I think when you start taking all of those items into account to include the utilities, I mean, we pay for Wi-Fi. Every single event here pays for, I think most of the events here use our Wi-Fi. So we need to cover the cost for that. If we have to buy a new projector, right? I mean, all of those things need to be taken into account when we are setting the rate discount to recoup our costs. So I think that,
What we're saying is you're not charging enough to recoup the cost.
charge more.
So instead of 1,200, I mean, you're not recouping the cost.
So can you bring back a recommendation of what a truer cost recovery might look like so we can have that conversation. Is that what we're asking for?
And I think that that needs to go for that $3.25 an hour, because if that $3.25 an hour that you're charging is simply to cover our staff time costs, garbage, right? Again, you start adding those things in. I'd like to see if that $3.25 is covering that.
Sure, okay. I appreciate the feedback.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, thank you.
Councilor Kohler, question.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As someone that has reserved the event center for fundraising events and use the whole facility, I know that the event coming up in October, it would have cost us $4,200 to do that event had the fee not been waived. And I will tell you that if we had to pay $1,900 to use that event for our fundraiser thing, we couldn't hold it here. And so there was a discussion in Lily's office the other day about what about next year? What are you looking for?
Cost of doing this.
We have a paying customer that wants the same event that you've had before. And what did I say?
I hope you said.
You said go with the paying customer.
Oh, jeez. That was a good answer, Dan.
So I guess I look at it and I mean, I'm gonna have to go back to my people and say, this isn't gonna be available for us because it's gonna cost too much. We can't hold the event and have enough money left over after we pay that much money to go to our scholarships and things for the kids. So, I feel bad about that, but I understand.
Yeah.
And so, I guess as a council and as staff, we need to figure out what do we want to do for the community and what do we want to do for the event center in the city? And I think that's the difference. If we're gonna say we're gonna have to have $1,900 for every time that event center is used for a fundraiser, some of our fundraising people will be going elsewhere. And maybe that's okay. Maybe that's what we want, but maybe we want to examine it more closer. That's all.
Thank you.
But I think the important, I'm sorry,
Yeah, Council President.
isn't that a minimum of 12 hours? They don't have to be there 12 hours,
But that's what they're saying.
They're gonna be charged for 12.
right?
Right.
So if they're only gonna have it for, oh, you're gonna require a minimum on a weekend of 12,
Yeah.
okay, never mind.
But the weeknights would be less expensive, so you want to do a
Yeah.
fundraiser that
That's the
has,
answer.
where are you going there?
Yep.
Yeah,
There you
so by having the pricing where you have the opportunities for the lower cost time frames on the weeknights, then you have that opportunity to have lesser cost.
Push them to those.
And that way we can have a fundraising event during the week and one on the weekend, and we engage more of the community in this space, because what I'm hearing is that how do we spread out the usage and do it in a way that accommodates the organizations to come in, but make sure that we are being responsible with the space and the actual cost to operate it. Is that fair? Okay. I'm gonna go Councilor Christopher, come back around, and I see Councilor Cross put her hand up, so
So
stand by.
I think that's exactly right. I think that we have to push our discounted and non-paying folks to the less desirable days of the week.
We're
and
busy.
Leave open the weekends that are highly desirable for the paying customers so that we can continue to run an event center. Because if we don't make those kinds of changes, we're not gonna have an event center. My question is about a catering kitchen. Is that, in your opinion, Lily, is that a real hindrance that they can't cook here?
Are you talking about for private parties?
I'm talking about for anybody that has an event here. Is it critical? I mean, I remember when we did that, I'm sure Councilor Parsons does too. That was a conscious decision. We didn't necessarily want them cooking here.
That's correct, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was.
and so we said,
Dangerous.
bring it in and we'll get all the warming ovens and the
Yeah.
refrigerators. We'll have everything ready for you to bring food in. But we didn't really want them cooking here.
Yeah.
Is that is that a hindrance to renting the event center?
I do not believe so, and
Great.
maybe Tim can give his opinion as well. But I find that clients work with it and like it. I will say that caterers do really like our space. They're comfortable here.
Good.
And so once we get a caterer who's experienced working here, they do like it. And I'll hear stories about how they compare it to other places. And I think that we have generally a positive response to
Now, see, that's a good news. I mean, you know, we mentioned that, Tim, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, if we have to put in a kitchen, and we really don't want to, because we have business going on.
We don't.
Oh, gosh, with the money.
Yeah, so I think that's good news. One more thing, hotels. Wonder if now this is gonna just hold on.
All right.
Wonder if you said to each of those hotels where you've had a hard time breaking in, I'll give you one free event. One. Come try us out.
Let's do it.
Okay,
Sure.
All right, I'm done.
okay, Mr. Brown.
Thank you, Madam Council. Again, Council Chris Brown is going to respond to the first, previous question. I also think that there's a value in allowing our local businesses, the local restaurants, to be able to come here and cater. It adds to their business.
Yes.
Yes.
For them to get registered and be able to cater out an event here. And-
But we're not stopping that.
Oh,
No, I'd say that's a value added.
Oh,
hold on.
we need to
It's a good
advertise.
time. Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed.
yeah, and that's been one of our strengths all along, is the flexibility for our local businesses to do business here. It was something that I remember in the early days when we were being criticized for having this space, that was like, well, businesses do business. And it's been good for our local restaurateurs. I'm gonna go to Councilor Cross, that has her hand up.
Thank you again for the great discussion. My suggestion would be that a lot of convention centers don't go by the hour, they go by the day in the night. So it won't be so extreme. So I would suggest looking at what that looks like for what the day cost and night cost looks.
Well, what does that mean? What's a day?
So, well, this is the world I live in. So you run it from 8 to 4, 8 to 3, 8 to 4, and whatnot. And again, I worked for a very successful company that never ever went in the red. So look at that, and again, I almost would challenge Lily and Adam and Tim to see how many convention centers really rent by the hour.
To see what?
Who rents by the hour, and who rents by the day and by the night?
Do we know?
It'd be a model to look at as you're looking at the options.
I did conduct a rate study, and the list of facilities that I looked at, what is here, it is a mix of venues that are privately owned or government sponsored or owned and operated.
Yeah.
And so we.
And then my next, yeah.
But
and
isn't
then
by
my
the
second,
hour, Lily?
I'm sorry.
and then my next, sorry.
I'm gonna
Go
let
ahead,
Lily finish
Lily,
her
and then I'll
sentence,
follow
I'll
up.
go to you, Councilor Cross. Lily, did you want to finish your comment?
Thank you. Well, at least for the data that I pulled together, I do believe it was mostly hourly rates.
Okay.
And when we, our idea of reducing, taking away the discount on the weekends did come from what we saw in this rate study, where there are higher rates or no discounts on the weekends.
Totally makes sense.
Sure does.
So
Councilor Cross.
I agree with the discounts on weekends. So I would be happy to get some data on, in my opinion, I believe it's cleaner just to do the day, because you can set the rates. But
Let's look at both.
yeah, look at both and see what it looks like. And then my other question is, I know I've heard some fluff in the community that we're only doing a certain amount of quinceañeras because of the because of the wear and tear. Can you tell me more about that, Lily?
Oh, we can't do that. Let me get through this. Do we limit quinceañeras?
No, we do not limit quinceañeras.
There's the answer.
Okay, well, well, stop. We're answering for Lily. I want her to answer.
Thank you, Mr. Brown.
Thank you again. Maybe Councilor Cross, could you maybe extrapolate on that a little bit more? I don't think we understood.
Well, I've had conversations with Lily that have said they do wear and tear on our carpets and whatnot. And so we only have a limited amount of quinceañeras.
Oh, so, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Billy, but I don't think we limit it because of that. I think they have self-limited, like quinceañeras, for the fear of death. Is that, feel free to correct me.
I would agree with that, and I would also say that those of us who answer the phone and address inquiries that come to the event center, we say yes whenever we can. To deny someone for potential wear and tear has not happened.
Thank you.
Follow up. Would it be fair to say that you have said to me that you've limited it to one a month?
I do not recall saying anything like that, and it also, I would say that it doesn't feel like anything I would say.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we're going to go ahead. I know we've really gone late, but this has been a very in-depth conversation. So that we've made some comments on the rate study's recommendation, and I would like to be able to wrap up with, this is an outline of capital needs. This is not all encompassing, but this is, I will let you introduce what this is and what you are working toward, and then we'll wrap up the evening.
Sure, thank you, Madam Mayor, Council. Again, this is our list of things we put down. This is the stuff that we know of that we need to keep our eye on. It is in order of priority for us right now. So that once we identify some dollars to be able to do some of this stuff, we'd love to move forward with it. However, financially, until we're in a sustainable spot, I can't put us further in the hole just yet. So that's kind of what I got.
Can you mute, please?
What is that noise? Right, mute yourself.
Thank you.
There, thank you. If I may, and this is just for the future, one of the pieces of our strategic plan is to look at our TOT funds and an investment strategy. And make
budgets where we're going to spend. Yeah,
partly.
Okay.
I call it investment strategy because how we allocate those funds invests in the economic development of our community. So part of that strategic planning around TOT, especially bringing on a third hotel, I think will engage all of us in terms of policy on how we're going to allocate funds toward this facility and other facilities in our community that bring tourism and economic development dollars here. So if I may suggest that this may be part and parcel of that part of our strategic plan conversation going into 2027.
Don't disagree.
Okay. So this is gold as far as I'm concerned, because it really is going to help us put dollars and cents in what we need to invest in for the benefit of not just this facility, but also looking at economic opportunity for Keizer and our place on the map. Any comments on that?
Mm-hmm.
All right. With that, I'd like to give our esteemed staff colleagues a chance to wrap up, and then I'll take a final comment and we will call it an evening.
Oh, I do have one comment.
Okay, so press pause.
Are we, the discounts available? Oh, she said, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
You're okay, you're okay.
Press pause. I thought you were pausing ending.
All right, Mr. Brown and team.
I just want to say thank you, everyone. I know this is running late tonight, but you've given me a lot of feedback. I appreciate that we'll be able to bring back to you at some point in the near future. To get the resolution in front of you again, to make any modifications that you folks deem necessary. I would say that our current financial strategy, our current marketing business plan is really the focus is on becoming sustainable, with the idea that we would ultimately use limited TOT dollars to support us and try to drive as much paying business here as we can, so that we can provide the asset that we have for the community use, for all of the contractual resolution kind of things that the community brings here. I would say I'm still giddy about the place. I think it's an amazing asset that the city has, and when it says party time, I think it's amazing to see all the people walking in the front door. When it's Latino Business Alliance groups and the excitement that they bring, and seeing all the weddings. I want proms to come back. We haven't seen those for a couple of years. They need to come back. This is a great space with free parking. We have an amazing opportunity to just make the hairs on the back of my neck stand up a little bit and think about the opportunity of what we can do here and how people take this space that we have and transform it into a magical event. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Vaughn.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, City Council. With the first question that was addressed to me, I feel like we kind of hit the ground running, and I didn't get to also express my affection for the event center. I have said it before and I'll say it again. I do think I have one of the best jobs in the city, where I get to work in City Hall with all those amazing people back there, and then I get to work with the community and serve and meet people that way. So I just want to give my gratitude for that opportunity to be a part of this and to have a job that is something that I believe in, that I can put my heart into. And I just also want to say that it is an absolute honor to work with the leadership of this city, Tim Wood and Adam Brown. I learn so much all the time, and I am inspired to do a good job by them. So I just wanted to add that I love this place and I do want to do what's best for it. It excites me very much that my job, in large part, is to discover the potential of the Keizer Event Center. And I do think that there is potential.
Thank you very much. Final wrap up, Parsons, Kohler, Starr.
I just want to say thank you and good job to the city team again for the work that you put into this presentation and that you do every day with the event center. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now,
Thank you.
All right.
On the financial history page, you've got transient occupancy tax, $89,000 projected for 26-27. Does that include the third hotel?
Yes, it does.
Well, that's too bad.
Yes, it does.
On page 11, under discounts available, are we as a council, or are you as a staff, is 25% the right discount? Yes, I think we should give a discount. 25% is a significant discount. I'm just saying, is that the right percentage? Could we give a 10 or 15% discount? Maybe we can look at that. We've already talked about the ballrooms and how $600 of the $3,900 was just, I think we all agree, unacceptable. Okay. The CPI-based rate increase, Tim, really, we have to wait a year? A year. I mean, isn't that something that is still going to be fair to the folks? And I look to you and Lily, wouldn't it be fair to the folks if we say the beginning of the new calendar year, January, we're going to start indexing these rates by the CPIW to keep up with the labor costs? Is that not fair? We've got 4 months left in this year, so they would have 120-day warning that we're going to start, and then every January they're indexed for the year. Is that, I don't know, how do y'all feel about that?
Maybe bring that as an option.
Okay.
And explore what they can recommend. How does that feel?
It feels good.
Okay.
My last one is
just one more.
fee waivers to only include events. Now, fee waivers, that's entire 100% fee waivers. Is this correct?
That is correct.
Okay, are for non-ticketed
Yeah, who is that?
I'm sorry?
Like book sale.
So I will throwing that out there is, if you want to set some parameters for what staff could approve as a waiver, maybe that's something that, I think that needs more discussion. If we have more
I
time,
think so too.
I think I would further expand.
So maybe you can give us when you come back, you'll have a recommendation on that. I'd like to know more about that. I mean, I want to support the library, but $9,000, I mean, let's talk more about that. Last one.
Yep.
Adam, get out there and get a grant. That is your forte.
So good at it, right?
So let's find a grant. I had to hurry, so I didn't get to add all this up. Do you know what the number is for all this?
I don't know.
Okay.
Fair,
I mean, it's like 500,000.
but we have, spread over a few years, right?
Yeah.
National
You've gotten bigger grants.
National Endowment of Arts has, often has grants for equipment, so that might be a resource.
There you go.
Can look into.
And there you have it.
Okay, so now I'm done.
Okay, good.
Okay,
Those were all good
Councilor
things.
Strand, anything? Wrap up?
I agree with everything else that's said here, and looking at what we, I think we have gone pretty crazy on giving fee waivers. It seems like maybe we need to look at doing fee discounts on some of the things, so maybe we should keep that up. Maybe there's some things that we can just say, sorry, this one doesn't qualify for a fee waiver as it has in the past. This is gonna be a discount, and we give them the 25% discount and make everybody else the standard and 15 on certain discounts. So this is an option. Just think about that and just say, is there some things that, we think we've gone a little bit crazy on and we should maybe start seeking a little bit more funding from the people that are using it.
All right, Councilor Cross?
He's moving.
I don't know.
Now she's forgotten she's moving.
Okay, with the, not getting anything at this
Sorry,
point, so.
sorry. I apologize. I don't have anything else to say. Good meeting. Good job,
All
everyone.
right, thank you much. All right, thank you all very much for a great conversation this evening. The time is 8:31. We are adjourned.